Hi, Kevin England from Northwest New Jersey Beekeepers Association and the Beekeepers Corner podcast. Today I'm going to show you how to make beeswax lip balm. Let's first go through the ingredients. You're going to start with 1.5 ounces by weight clean beeswax. This is Capping's beeswax that's been filtered and strained. You'll need 1 ounce by weight cocoa butter, 1.5 ounce by weight shea butter. To that, you'll add 2 ounces of sweet almond oil. And you want to have some sort of flavoring for your lip balm, so you could use 1 to 2 teaspoons of flavored oil made specifically for lip balm. Or in my case, I'm going to use a peppermint essential oil. For the essential oils, you're going to use a ½ teaspoon. I'm going to be very careful with this that you don't add too much. It's very, very strong. And you note that I have a scale here and a couple containers. I'm physically going to weigh each one of these things in a mise en place kind of way and make sure that I have the right weights as I go to put everything together. Now, of course, you'll need lip balm tubes. I bought a bunch of them from the internet. All this stuff is available online, or you could buy them from a beekeeping supply. I'm using these type of tubes, but I wanted to show that they have the other kind, which is the flat ones that you just take the top off and rub it on your lips and put it back on. Now, I saw this contraption used. This is a tube filler at the Eastern Apiculture Society meeting a couple years back. You take your tubes and you put them from the bottom on, and you fill all your tubes in the holes. And then you pour through here all of the lip balm into the containers, and you use this handy spatula to smooth it off and get them all filled in. What I also have here is, and here's all the containers, and I have a solo cup that I'm capping the lids. I have a pot, which I'm going to fill with water, and a double boiler. This is what I'm going to use to melt all the ingredients before I pour them in. Now, one thing about this is when you put beeswax in this double boiler, it should be only used for cosmetics and things like that. You're going to have a really difficult time getting this clean. So anything that you do to make lip balm, hand cream, and other things using beeswax, find some dedicated equipment. Don't use your normal kitchen utensils. This pot right here is the pot that I use for all my wax melting and so on, and it's dedicated to the kit. The other thing that I have is these old coffee cans. They're clean inside, and I typically take a old t-shirt or something and strap it here with a couple rubber bands and pour and filter, and then I pour it right back in and make my clean beeswax with it. So let's get started. We'll put everything up, we'll measure everything up and put it out on the stove and get it going. So I want to be clear on one thing. I've upped the size of the ingredients for what I'm going to make today because I have 50 tubes. The measurements that I gave you a moment ago were for 35, makes about 35 tubes. I'm going to make 50. I'll give you the measurements upsized. They aren't perfect. They're not 1 ounce and 1.5 ounce. They're derivatives of that. And I'll give you the formula for 50 later when I share the recipe ingredients. So in this I have 2.14 ounces by weight beeswax, 1.42 ounces by weight cocoa, 2.14 ounces by weight shea butter, 2.8 ounces liquid of the almond oil, 0.7 of a teaspoon of peppermint oil, and on the vitamin E I have 1.42, just short of a teaspoon and a half. So what I'm going to do now is get to melting the wax. That's the first step in the manufacture. Gently over a double boiler, I'll wait till the wax is melted, and then literally you just put each of the ingredients in, stir to mix, and pour in the tray. I have my beeswax melted, just about. And now what I'm going to do is add the rest of my fats. I'm using a old chopstick. Cocoa butter goes in first. Add the shea butter. I'm just going to stir these until they're all melted. One of the things you could do with your beeswax is shave it or put it in little pearls. If you had a big block, it might take a little longer. This took about 5 minutes to get my wax melted. And it looks like the cocoa butter is going to melt quickly, but the shea butter might take a little more time. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. I've added all the oils, everything's melted, and I'm ready to add the vitamin E and the flavoring, the essential oil. For that step, I'm going to remove it from the heat. So I'm going to turn the stove off, I'm going to slide it over, and I'm going to pour those last two ingredients in. And I'm just going to stir it. Well, you can really smell the peppermint. It's very, very strong. That's it. Now I'm going to pour it in my tray and we'll see what we get. I got my spatula ready. Let's go ahead and pour this in and see how we turn out. Almost all of them are full. A couple empty ones down here. See if I could use the spatula to scoop what's left down over there. Get those two filled up. If anything, just make sure I get them cleaned off so that they're all level. I'm going to take this excess and put it in this one I know is not full. Have to remember that one as the test bed. And I think everything else looks really good. got one more here that could use a little more. This one right here. And this one right here. One last clean off and I'm done. Done. So here you see the end result, 50 tubes. I upsized the recipe from the original one. The original ingredient volume that I gave you was for 35. I made 50. I got 49. One of them was a little bit short. I have to thank Landy Simone for the recipe. She handed it out at a beekeeping meeting and it came out perfectly. It's great. It's not too greasy. It just turns out perfect, and I got the right amount of flavoring in it. So if you have some beeswax from cappings, after you do your honey, try making a little bit of lip balm. You're going to really enjoy it. Thanks for watching, everyone.